All right. Thursday pop-up live. This is a surprise live because I did not know when I was going to be able to do these lives. So with family back in town, house being busy, I tried to get a pop-up in. Um, Things we're going to talk about today. Hat market. What furs do they use in the hat market? Um, how I deploy my axe and what purpose it has when I deploy my machete, because there's different times to deploy different things on the trap line. Then goals this season. Then we're going to be open for discussion. Well, we're open discussion all the time, but I want to get this stuff out of there. We talk back and forth, and then what we're going to do, like I said, talk about my goals. I think we talked about them a little bit, but with what I know now, my goals have changed not quite a bit, but a little bit too. So we're going to talk about that stuff. So now we're in the live. So first thing we're going to talk about is hat market, and the second thing we're going to talk about is furs, what they use. So hat market is like beavers, stuff like that. So it's like cowboy hats, fur hats, and stuff like that they use in the hat market. And the furs that they use during the hat market, specifically cowboy hats, that I'm going to focus on, because there has been a lack of furs, and people have been having a hard time getting the hats ordered. They'll order them, they'll be a year plus out because they can't get the fur. So that drives some of the fur market, because some of the fur goes to these companies, they shave it down, they do all the stuff to it and make it into a hat. Then they do all the magic to it. So I know if the hat market's like that, and it's been for a year, and I heard this a little over a year ago, and I haven't tried to order a hat since. It should be around this year that the market should be going up a bit, and they should be a bit more demand, right? From what I've heard, there's still months and months out. So, and that's getting a hat, shaping it, all that stuff. And in order to supply those, you got to have the furs. What furs do they use in hats? Obviously, everybody knows beaver. But with beaver, you're looking at really expensive hats. You're looking at 800, 900 plus $1,000 hats. So when you get below that, you're looking at mixed hats, mix of rabbit fur and beaver fur. And then when you get above the high and really high end hats, you're looking at like mink and stuff and beaver mix. But the cheaper the hats, you're looking at beaver mix with a rabbit mix. So there is a drive there for beaver. And those are the furs that they use for just like cowboy hat making. Now, moving on to the next thing, unless you guys have questions, we kind of talked about this other live about my axes and machetes and why I have all that stuff. But there's a purpose behind carrying a machete and an axe when I first get on a trap line. And there's a purpose where I carry a light hatchet and then I carry that longer machete, right? The reason I carry my axes, my boy's axe right here, muddy for a reason, dirty. And I carry, my hatchet later in the year. And I carry obviously my machetes. Well, machetes are for cutting trenches and cutting blackberries, cutting my way through the forest. As throughout the season, the blackberries grow. You cut them the first time you go through, then they grow again, then you got to cut them again. So this is making my way into this spot, and sometimes cutting trails and cutting ruts out of the ground and stuff with the ability to resharpen this pretty easy. And then, obviously you need to feed the dig rats out. But then later in the season, after I set my traps, unless I'm going to a new spot, I'll just assume I'm in the same spot, I'll carry my axe and I'll carry this with me first too, because I'll use the back of it to pound my earth anchors in. I carry an axe because it's a little heavy. You got 2.5 pounds here versus a flimsy blade that you can actually hit in the ground and rip up with the bit here on this. And so you got a bit of a digger here, as well as a hammer. And this is just light enough, just big enough at 24 inches that it fits into my pack basket, and I have no problems with it. And this is a Council Tools. I like Council Tools. They're made in America. You're not buying something cheap that's going to break or something. I like wood because if something happens to this, you can rehang it. Fiberglass is a bit tougher. rehanging stuff, but wood you can always rehang it. And these are pretty high quality axes for the price. These entry level axes come with a round wedge, the wedge and the round pin, which holds good. Yeah, best US made axes right now. They come decently sharp. Run a file across them, sharpen them, and they'll stick. And remember, a sharp axe is a safe axe because then you don't have glancing blows that glance off and hit things or hit you. So always make sure your axe is sharp so it digs in versus glancing off, which makes them dangerous. So make sure they're always sharp. And a couple different machetes, right? I tried different ones. I've tried your obviously Brazilians. I've tried the American, tried the cheaper Americans. You can't beat it Tramontina machete, right? A Brazilian brand, Tramontina. They use good high carbon steel. You don't have problems with them. This is a plastic handle. Also have wooden handles, and neither one really has any faults to it. The Tramontina is the brand that I suggest. Yes, this is a 24-inch machete, but it has a huge gap here. It's not sharpened. You could try sharpening that. It's going to take a while because the steel's kind of hard. That's not too big of an issue. Then, obviously, I went to a different brand. I went to Sight Pro. The Sight Pro brand. Comes with a heavy-duty sheath. That's what drew me to it. But the blade is an interesting blade. This blade is the 17-inch Colombian machete. But they call it the Colombian machete because it's made in America, right? If it was made in Colombia, that it would have been a lot better, right? But this is Sight Pro. It's not that great. I mean, you get an edge on it with the work sharp, and then it just never gets real sharp. You have to really, really work at it. So it's called the heavy duty machete too. It's real heavy duty, and really don't like it because from the tip up, from right here up, is dull when you get it, and you have to really reprofile it. I like the handle. It's riveted, really sturdy handle, but really comfortable handle too. But just not, you're paying for the sheath basically. For $30, you're paying for the sheath and the blade, right? But for $20, you can get the same size 24-inch machete from Tramontina and it'll hold an edge. And you can resharpen it and it'll hold an edge. Resharpen it and it'll hold an edge. You never have a problem with the machete from Tramontina. So obviously, I got one Tramontina machete. I got two Tramontina machetes, different designs for different things, grasses, stuff like that. Real close in work. The longer machete for heavier duty stuff. But yeah, real light Tramontina brand. You don't have problems with this with the wood handle. Riveted, same thing. Kind of the same design as the Sight Pro. They kind of knocked off the handle design, but yeah. For a cheap machete, you can't beat a Tramontina. They use them on golf courses. In Latin America, they actually use it. In Brazil, they use the Tramontina brand. It's not something they just export. It's actually used there. It's traditional. They use them, and it's very good steel. Takes an edge. You don't have like the Sight Pro when you sharpen it. You don't run into the edge chipping off when you look at it. It just doesn't hold. It doesn't become sharp. It gets to a certain point that chips off the edge, so it doesn't hold an edge. So you run into things like that with the Sight Pro American brands. Unless we go up to like the $100, $80, $90, $100 machetes, then you're really getting into good steel. But for $20, you can't beat Tramontina machete. And I mean, these boys axes are $50, $60. Can't go wrong with it. For just a basic axe, not bad. Now, what did I do this year? I decided not for trapping, but to have with me in case a full-size axe in case something happens. I need to cut my way in with, without a chainsaw or something. But this is their premium line. Super sharp, 5160 head, a lot better, stamped. This is the real deal here. This has a real nice handle, but that's for that. Now, when I deploy my machetes later in the season, after I pound everything in, I carry the machete with me. It's my main use. It's made for clearing the trails. That's my main purpose with the machete. Is obviously trail clearing. I have people that go through machetes all the time. What they use. Landscapers, when they do blackbirds, besides power tools, this is what they use, the Tramontina brand. I'm not sponsored by any of these. I just know it works. from my experience, and that's Tramontina. These are top points from my experience. That's what my experience is with Tramontina. Corey mentioned, do not underestimate the SOG machete. It is USA made. Yes. I've seen the SOG machetes. They are, depending on what level of SOG machete you talk about, I'm assuming it's the one you just get in the store. I've heard horror stories with them, but they're more fancy, this and that. I'm more talking just traditional machetes, Latin style, long, narrow blade, short sword type. This has a bit of flex to it, but even though the handle flexes, when you hit, you don't feel the vibration in your hand at all with this, which is quite surprising. And they sell short Tramontinas like this with Cordura sheaths in most home goods stores. This is just a bigger one for when I wanted to really have some reach cut through the woods. And sometimes I'll, obviously dual wield them when I'm carrying my pack in a long trail. I'll cut my way in with both. Cut something out of the way with this, cut something out of the way with this, work my way in. And, it's just something where you're more efficient that way, as long as you cut what's in front of you and you do not cross your hands. If you cross your hands, you're cutting your hand. You got to be careful with it and know what you're doing. Have confidence in your blades when you're doing that stuff, right? And don't do it in front of a bunch of people, because then they look at you like, what's wrong with this guy? Do it out more in the forest. You're going to dual wield them, right? We aren't in the medieval times. You're not going to dual wield them in the city. If I'm in the city, I'm going to carry one, get the job done, put it away, stuff like that. So you're not going to walk with them a lot. You don't want to be one of those people that police get called or stuff like that. So, because they look like swords. So be careful with that stuff, or large knives. Then, of course, I was talking about the, this one. It's a premium line, comes with a sheath. This is like the creme of the creme of their line. This is the top of the line they make. This is full size Feller's axe. But they make a boy's axe version like that. That's better steel, holds an edge, hand sharpened from the factory. Let's see. My boards aren't even in my live, are they? Tried to do that so it would have a little bit of something trapping in the back. But they're not even yeah, okay, this guy looks like set this all up and then like, oh yeah, the boards is alive. So so it looks a little trappy-ish. Still in the way. Oh well, that's fine. Yeah, so next on the list. Kind of bunched why I deploy my machete why I use my axe. The main purpose of my axe, besides digging and stuff like that, is pounding my earth anchors in, pounding the rebar and pounding them into tough ground. Is this a cheap enough axe? You beat the heck out of this. They don't really roll very much, but you pound the earth anchors all the way in. Heavy enough weight. Just be careful of this edge, obviously. That's what I use it for. I have no problems. No deflection last year, no mushrooming, nothing. It's fine. That's why I use that. Hatchet, obviously, a little more fun to have, a little more traditional, and then it's just your typical Hudson Bay. Old design. They moved on the new designs. They moved the pull here or the handle in a little bit and moved the pull this part back. It's a little more balanced, but I don't like it because it doesn't look very Hudson Bay-ish. But obviously, this is more of a Dayton pattern, more of an American style design, more modern. I would love to have a long-handled, what did I just say? Hudson Bay design, more traditional trapper, right? You see all those trappers in the movies with the Hudson Bay design where you have the pole and then the pole comes down to a point and you can grip stuff with it. Because the Hudson Bays were designed as a tool, but also as a weapon. You could go like this and grip onto stuff and go and grip your enemy to you. So it is, as much as it was a tool, it was for self-defense also besides the knives. So that's why it has a big beak on it. It's kind of the design. And they're based off kind of a throwing axe too. Let's see. What else? What do I want to talk about? 15 minutes, I blew through my list. I'm surprised. Goals this year. So I have an update on some of the spots that we were asking around at. The spot that I had hope for having some raccoons was a bobcat spot out in Manning, Oregon. So a little bit out towards the coast, and that particular spot, we asked the owner, have you ever seen a raccoon out there? He says, no, I'm too high. Too high in altitude. He's too high up there. He has not seen a raccoon. He's lived there a while. So there's probably no raccoon out there. We're not going to set for him there, sadly. That was my hope. I got to get a raccoon somewhere this season, so we'll see what happens. This last year I did not film the property I did get my raccoon at. Yeah, Tomahawk, Hudson Bay. Yeah. So Corey says, you mean Tomahawk, Hudson Bay? Yeah, it's similar design. It's the pattern is a Hudson Bay pattern because it was actually Tomahawk design. It was based off of Tomahawk, but in the fur trade, the Hudson Bay Company was the one that usually sold them, and they kind of got the Hudson Bay pattern. That's what they called the Hudson Bay. But yes, it's like a Tomahawk, if you will. But since it has this big beak, it's not as much Tomahawk as it is a Hudson Bay. Tomahawk more has like a high up here and then down here, and it's more for cutting. It can be used a lot like a Tomahawk, but the Tomahawk was Native American at this time when these were deployed. The Americans or the immigrants had Hudson Bays. The Native Americans had Tomahawks, and they're based off similar designs and influence throughout interwar fighting between each other and different fur trappers, and that's how they came up with the Hudson Bay. But this is technically a Hudson Bay design, based off the Tomahawk, if you will. Right in there-ish, if that makes sense. So yeah, so our plan was to go there. But yeah, so I was talking about where I caught my raccoon last year. Last year we caught it at a new property. It was a very obvious spot for local people here, so I did not film it. But if I'm not in such a popular place with like a restaurant up on the hill, one of the places that's on TV that's super popular, right next to me, right? That people see, like the Little People Big World, we're by their place, which is a show on TBS or whatever, show about like little people in the Oregon, and it's very popular. It's been around for years, but we're right there, and people would have recognized where we were if local people saw it. And since I advertise this on my private page and my friends see it, I don't want them knowing where I'm trapping. And up on the hill is one of the most popular restaurants around here, considered one of the best burgers around here. So I don't want to put that out there, but that's why I didn't film that. It was a quick walk down, check traps, leave. It would have been a quick 5-minute check, if that, and it wouldn't have been a lot of content, and I didn't want to put that out there for you guys. I didn't feel like it would be worth the effort, and I didn't feel like you guys would want to see, oh, look, no, nothing in the trap, let's go. Something like that. So I didn't film it. One of my goals this year, so based off what I know about the new property that we have, obviously at least one raccoon, without targeting them, pick off a raccoon if one stumbles into my traps. Otter, obviously, want to get otter. What else? Beaver, that's a given. We always do beaver. What else is there? Gonna try to get a bobcat this year. Last year we had a bobcat get caught, pulled it out, did everything we need to do to dispatch it without shooting it. Next day, another bobcat came right in there, sniffed the same area, and we haven't seen that bobcat since that time last year, March-ish, March 15th, March 30th, right in there. So yeah, we have a trail camera. We left the trail camera up there all year. Haven't seen anything. Just today on that same property, though, I uploaded it actually. I heard coyotes, 4 of them walk together and then one run up behind. So there's a lot of coyotes up there. We see them on the camera all the time. I would like to pick them off, but that's my brother's hunting spot, and I don't have permission to go up there, so that won't be happening as of what I know. I've seen raccoons in the high Cascades about 2,000 foot elevation. Yeah, see, that's what I feel like. I feel like on the Coast Range, Manning, it's really not that high, but that's what he said. So I don't know if it's that he doesn't want us trapping that stuff, or he just never sees it. and I have a feeling they're there, but I haven't seen the property, so I don't know what it's like. So he has animals too, so I don't know if he wants all that stuff there. Because if we're gonna trap the bobcat, we're gonna use cages. So I don't know if that guy wants all that stuff out there. But right now he has a problem bobcat, and he's been trying to catch it. So and it's do whatever, call it ODFW, try to get rid of it, whatever he can. It's on his private property. Not sure the rules on that, but that's on him because it's his property. Dale Billingsley just uploaded. Shout out to him. Yeah, that was my feeling. I was like, hasn't seen raccoon, but I was like, I thought when my dad told me that, I was like, are you sure? I thought they go higher than that. And he's like, said that no, and I'm like, pretty sure they're pretty high up into the coast range here. They're pretty sure they go pretty high up, and pretty sure they're not afraid to climb either, because the research I was saying is they're starting to be found higher and higher in elevation. They're starting to the more populated they are, the higher the elevation they're seen. So my first thought was, wait, that's not right. But I'm not going to question it. I'd like to take out some of those coyotes, but that's not my call. So yeah, a lot of these spots are like my brothers and dad's friends. But I mean, I've tried getting a hold of people. Oh yeah, come get this beaver, come get that, and I've run across my family, and they're like, nah, we'll just stay here. I'm like, yeah, all the spots are their relations, right? If I want to start a relationship with somebody and catch their animals, they brush off. And I'm like, that's not, okay, whatever, but I'm not gonna push it too much. It's kind of, I think it's not really fair, but whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, that's the goal this year. Possum, get rid of some possum, obviously. There's a lot of birds, ground nesting birds out here. Not like what are they? Turkey, stuff like that. They're more there's ground birds, robins, stuff like that. Stuff that little birds. But it is worth getting rid of some of the possum, because I talked to a guy. He said 60 years ago, I didn't see him here. 50 years ago, I started seeing him, and by that time he was 20 years old, and he says, I never saw him. And they just went there, and I was in outdoors all the time. So I'm assuming they aren't. I know they're not native, but I'm assuming they started coming here. I don't know, from Utah, Oregon. I mean Utah or Washington or I mean Idaho, Oregon, or California. I don't know which way they started coming here, but they are here now. So got to get rid of some of them. They really just clog your traps. They're really annoying. Yeah, they're really annoying. If the landowner has cattle or other type of livestock on the property, they do have the right to take out the wild animals off the property. That is a rule for landowners. See, I thought that was a rule. I wasn't sure. I didn't want to go say something that wasn't true, but I thought that was. I thought that if the depredation, whatever it's called, permit that Oregon has to get rid of predators. So on farms that with cattle, that farms that the animals come cause damage, kill the cattle, the depredation permit I think they can get and get rid of it. We thought about getting one, but our problem at the not our house, but at the golf course, they're thinking about getting one because the elk were coming in there destroying the golf course. They're running it up, but they can't it's not a predator, so they can't necessarily get the license for it at the time this was happening. So they'd have to just get a tag and do it, but they didn't want to shoot the elk, and then if they shot the elk, they'd startle them and they'd leave their footprints in the grass. So that was a whole ordeal. But yeah, that was something they were talking about. Yeah, the golf course that we trap. We don't trap all of it, but we trap a few spots out there. 36 holes, I think it is. 18 and 18, 36, something like that. But yeah, it is what it is. Now I'm open for some questions from people about anything you want to talk about. Went through my 5 things on my list really fast. Last time it took an hour and 45 minutes to go through them all. So yeah, that's just basic tools, basic stuff. Kind of early live. It's one of those things where I have to get live when I can. Usually I go a lot later, but it is what it is. Next goal is working on getting your driver's license. Then you can try more animals in the org. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I got to work on a little bit more on what is it? Not stopping, but when you come to the light and turn and fall through the turn, is what speed to go at. Stuff like that. That stuff is more what I got to work on. But everything else is pretty easy. They should be able to bow hunt the elk. Yeah, that's an option out there, and they've talked about that. But with new management out there this year, we're gonna have to get permission all over again in the trap. So we'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure my dad's gonna be like, we need to put them in, otherwise the otter's gonna come in here, kill the fish, they're gonna cause damage. So pretty sure we're putting them in either way. But the way it's worded to me is we got to have permission because it's a new manager. But pretty sure last 3 managers they put them in. So let me get a drink real quick here. Brought a couple drinks over here. Excuse me. Just drinking another one of these Cascade Ices, blackberry flavored. Well, like I told you last time, they're 0 calorie, just a lot of potassium, but carbonated water, citric acid, potassium benzoate, preservatives, potassium citrate, sucralose, natural flavor. So pretty good stuff. I like them. This one is blackberry. We sometimes have blackberry, a couple other flavors we always get. But next week, starting Tuesday, I'll be going to the coast for a week from Tuesday to Tuesday, potentially. And probably won't be going live because I'll be at a different location at my grandparents and not sure where I'll go live and what I'll talk about without all the, props, like the stuff that I use, traps, or not traps, axes, stuff like that. Hello, Ozark Bound Outdoors. How are you? Ozark Bound Outdoors and Drew the Dan. What the two of you? What are your guys' goals for this season? Hunting, fishing, trapping, whatever you have for the upcoming season. What are your goals? Elk hunting, whatever. I would love to hear your goals. For the possum, it's an invasive species in Oregon between 1910 and 1921. Yeah. See, that's the guy was talking like 70 years ago, but I'm like, he was 80, 90 years old, the guy, and I'm like, yeah. So they just came here. I'm gonna grab something real quick. It's gonna be right around the corner. Gonna fondle one of my traps. Oh, yeah. Got bit by this the other day. Right there, you can see the line. It's not bad. You know what? It didn't hurt at all. What startles you is the snap of the trap snapping. The click and then it jumps. That's what startles you. But the actual leg hold or fold, no pain whatsoever. It didn't. Nothing. I was actually surprised. I thought it would have hurt a lot worse, but absolutely not. It pinched me right there. You see it right there, that line. But it wasn't bad at all. This is a Duke. This one's waxed and coated. It's, I think, over 10 years old, but this Duke is made in Korea. Not sure where they're made now. This is a Duke 1.5, regular jaw. But yeah, not bad. I think my dad and brother said this when they weren't sure what they're doing. They took this and pinned it way back. So when I was trying to set it. I had a hard time getting the pan to stay set because it was so high, and it kept slipping off and setting off. Then I bent this in and fixed it, but they had it really bent back way far. And I'm pretty sure they're doing high pan stuff, but yeah, that was pretty bad because I 1 out of 6 tries I had it set. Then when I bent this in, I had it set every time. So they really had it in a bad position, this thing. Jim Dan said, breaking 100 beaver, 3 otter, or 5 otter, my apologies, 3 cats, 5 fox, a few coyotes for fun, a few mink, and as many everything else I get. Yeah. So when you catch the possums, do you dispatch them or do you let them go if they're alive? What do you do with that stuff? Ozark Bound Outdoors. I just bought a crossbow for deer hunting. I'm also rifle hunting this year. I have trapped, but not ready to trap until next year. That's fair. That's fair. Trapping, it's a lot of trapping, like setting these traps, setting stuff, is confidence in yourself that you won't get caught, right? So, like I'll set these, send on something hard, open it up, push the jaw down, set it off, redo it, just repetitively to get confident in what I'm doing. But yeah, trapping's a lot of fun. It really is. My favorite's drowners on the leg holds for beaver because you feel it. You poke the stick, poke. You're like test a few more times, like it's not there, or you poke it around. The suspicions get up, and you poke some more, and you're like it's not there. Pull the cable up or whatever, and whatever's you finally see what's at the end, and that's the excitement. The anticipation of what is down there is always exciting, especially when you can't see it because it's too deep. That's always fun. That's my favorite. We're just in an area where I get to use a lot of leg holds because of the fluctuation. The creek that I trap or ditch that I trap actually dumps into a creek that is deep enough, and we've used leg holds in the past on it. Or footholds, my bad. Dispatch egg eaters, exactly. That's my thought. And we have way too many here. I mean, technically, I could trap raccoon right now if I wanted to. I'm pretty sure raccoon, possums, coyotes. There's no season on them here. I'm pretty sure. Now, raccoon might have a season, but coyotes don't and possum don't. I know that for a fact. I heard raccoon don't, but I may be wrong. I think they consider possum native, so there may be rules on that. Yeah, Moxie, Daddy's here. Dad's here. Moxie, Tilly. Yeah, Dad's here. Talking to the dog. What do you want to trap? Ozark Bound Outdoors. When you do start trapping, do you want to start with like nest raiders like possum, raccoon, skunk? Do you want to start out with water animals like beaver, mink, muskrat, stuff like that? Do you have a plan of what you really want to target? I know it says you have traps. I'm curious what your plan is when you do go trap. Judith and Dan, I have a question. Have you it's about beaver. That's why I brought it up. What's your thoughts on the Duke 850s? And then obviously have you gone back to the TS85s or are you still using the Dukes? I couldn't really tell last season. I feel like there was a mix of everything in there. Couldn't really tell what you preferred. You have a drink real quick here. Yeah, so this coming Tuesday to next Tuesday, I'll be at the coast. I think I'll try to do some shorts on some of the fish I catch or the spots I'm at. It is kind of a special spot, so how much I film, would determine. Well, I guess the spot would determine how much I film. But yeah, I do plan on like filming a little bit of it, some releases of fish, other things like that. If especially videos of the bigger fish, if I can get them landed, weigh them, get the scale set up, weigh them, get the pictures, and then video them. If I have time to video them, I will. But if I don't want to kill the fish, so I gotta obviously be very careful with how much I do, how much time I take with them out of the water. So that's another thing that comes down to um, the health of the fish and all that stuff. So that all has a play in what I do. Yeah, these Dukes though, these are the old Dukes, the Korean made ones, 10 years ago. These things are stout, pretty stout traps, but they're not as stout as the No BS. I'll tell you what, they're pretty stout. This one's waxed. I don't know if this is painted, waxed or what, but this one it was waxed. Skunk, coyote, fox, beaver, nutria are open year round here. Skunk, coyote, fox, beaver. Yeah. See, we have nutria here too that open. See, I forgot about that. I'm not sure about skunks. Fox, bobcat, coyote. Nice. Fox, bobcat, and coyote. Yeah, bobcat. I love bobcat. Depending on if I'm trapped private or public, I use the 850s on private. They are the first dozen in the USA. Got them off the truck from Bill. I remember that. Get them off the truck from Bill. Do you still have a TS-85s and do you still use them? And I heard, what do you use? Number fours on public land or something like that? Duke number fours or Bridger number fours? Can't remember what you used on land. Corey, you still here? See. Corey, if you're here, what are your plans for this fall? What are your goals if you're going to go fishing Chinook and tributaries? What are your goals this year? I saw this already, but I just bought a crossbow for deer hunting. I'm also rifle hunting this year. I have trapped, but not ready to trap. So you obviously hunt whitetail. I'm assuming maybe mule deer, but definitely not blacktail. What rifles do you shoot? Ozark Bound Outdoors. What calibers do you have, and what? All right, have a good night, Ozark Bound Outdoors. Have a good one. Don't forget to subscribe. I don't know if you're subscribed or not. I'd appreciate the subscription, but trying to get to 1,000 so I can at least make some pennies on my videos. TS-85 on public water. Usually Duke 2, number 2 square John Lance. Interesting. That makes sense. Yeah, I swore you. What do you use for otter? I swore you were using like number 4s, number 2s, or something on a drowner. This past season or the season before. Savage 308, nice. That's beautiful gun. Savages are nice. Do you I was gonna ask how old you are, but I don't. Are you a youth hunter or are you an adult hunter? So I don't want to like ask, oh, how old are you? Oh, I'm 12, and then I feel awkward, like, or I'm 47, and I feel bad for asking how old you are because you don't ask the person how old they are, right? So 52, okay. You said 52. I can stay for a bit. Awesome. They have lowered their numbers for monetization. I saw, but that's for like gifts and stuff. I have to have 1,000 and so many hours to actually make money on ads. So that's for that 52. Nice. Do you only shoot a 308 Savage, or do you shoot other stuff? I use number 2s and number 4s for auto, but usually get them in beam sets. Yeah, see, I thought I saw number 4s for auto once in your video. I could have swore I saw him number 4s, but number 2s and number 4s. Ozark, have you trapped in the past, or is this your first time trapping? Banners, I don't know what this is. Banners, comments. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so you gonna make more of that lure, Judy? That lure smells good. I'm gonna try to make some mine if I can. I'm gonna try to make one batch for me, and then maybe a couple more batches, and maybe see what I can do about sending you a batch or something to try. I know you don't like mint, but something to try if you want. If I can get the batch down right. Grab a drink real quick, Jerry. Oh, that's right. Yes, I have 15 pounds of castor put up for lure. Nice. Yeah, I only have about a pound of castor from last year that didn't use, but I have one particular castor that's from a different location than I trap. So I want to make that into a lure for myself. And I want to make some lure and just try it at other places, but I don't get to go off. So I was gonna hopefully, if I can get it done right and figured out, I was gonna send you a jar, but I know you don't like the mint, so that's the thing. Like it's gonna be starts with peppermint schnapps as flavor. There's gonna be some oils in there. There's gonna be obviously oil sac stuff in there. So there's gonna be some stuff in there, but then oils and stuff. It's gonna be mint, so I don't know if you want to try that or not. Hey Corey. Corey, what's your goal this year for coastal river fish? Shudok. I have all the guns, but I use a 3.8 for whitetail. I have other guns, but I use the 3.8 for whitetail. First time trapping here. I'm from Wisconsin, but I live in Southwest Missouri now. You watch Trapper J, right? You watch Trapper J, don't you? Trapper J would be good to watch. Watch a little bit of Sam Wood Outdoors trapping. Iowa Trapper's good if you want to do like raccoon stuff. Next Gen Trapper's good. Coon Creek Outdoors is good to watch. Who else? Some of the very old Tom Miranda videos are good. Some of the older techniques he uses. Who else is good out there? Obviously, Drew and Dan, watch them. People in the comments are good. Drew and Dan, especially, they're very good at what they do. What else? There's quite a few good trappers out there. There's a few that are no longer trappers, but there's one called Tom Florin Trapping. He does a very good video explaining beaver trapping and stuff. He has a very good video. Tom Florin is one that really opened my eyes on some of the trapping. Dunlap Lures is a very good one. Predator Control Group's good. Or Clint Locklear, another good one to watch for just trapping. Plan on small game hunting as well. Nice. Nice. Small game as well, hunting as well, yeah. Mint catches a lot of nutria here. They love tail snapper, yeah. I don't know what it was about the Louis that one of my mentor made years ago. He got it off the same website I did. So I went back looking for lure combinations back then and found one. And I don't know what it was, but that slayed the beaver around here in Lyckold. I don't know what it was about it. He says it says it's a really good lure. He says I shouldn't have given it all away because it was such a good lure, but yeah, yeah. If I can figure out what he used, it's dynamite. I don't know what it was, but maybe Every couple checks would at least have 3 or 4 beaver. It was crazy. Out of the couple sets we had, my goal is to catch more salmon this year in the bay and tributaries. Nice. I'll probably be trapping during tributary season. I don't want to deal with the people. Yes. Yes. All right. Outdoor bound. What part? I started trapping both in Boothville, Boothville. I don't know. I don't know what that. Missouri. Missouri. The Boot Heel, Missouri. I thought it was a town or something. I'm over by Poplar Bluff. Nice. Out of the wood yard is a great beaver trap channel. Yeah. Out of the wood yard. Yeah, out of the wood yard is a good trap. I watched some of his just recently, and they're very good. He's smart. He's very smart. He uploads when it's not the trapping season, so people that are looking for trapping content see it, and they're like, "Oh, geez, watch him trapping." When it's not the season, so when all the trappers aren't out there trapping, they actually watch YouTube videos he's uploading. He's a pretty smart guy. Here in Indiana, I'm west of Poplar Bluff. Nice. Elsinore or Van Buren? Van Buren. Van Buren. Buren is an interesting name. See. Corey, you talked about eggs and stuff. Do you have a favorite cure without telling, oh, I like putting this, and this, and then to make them bite? Do you have a favorite base cure that you use? Or do you use like a 3-2-1? Do you use like ProCure, SureCure? What are your favorites? Brand? What is this? The settings are weird on this. They changed. Other than Dan. Oh, there we go. I'm not going to read that one out loud. The comments can read that. Because I don't want to get like too specific and start talking out loud and somebody that doesn't see it, stuff like that. I don't want to be too specific in speaking, so I'm not going to read the rest of that. Where is he? Corey, did you see that? Or did you hear me? I was curious if you heard me. So the next part of that conversation, nice fox and cat country, which is nice. Fox. Man, I don't think we have fox. We really don't have fox around here, and that'll be nice to catch. A nice red fox or something. Man, fox are pretty. I don't know what else to talk about. I'm just gonna let you guys finish your conversation, and then I was gonna get off. But unless if something else sparks somebody's interest or starts asking questions, because I don't know what else to ask. I went through my list. I'm having a brain fart right now, so it's kind of yeah. Oh, so during my beaver lure, or the beaver lure that we used, had some natural smells. So it's like woodsy, like poplar bud oil, stuff like that. Some mint to it. It had a spearminty slash pepperminty. It had an interesting smell to it that I remember. That just I don't know what it was about that. It really caught a lot of beaver. Oops. My barriers are falling. Might be getting off here pretty quick. I think the conversation's done between Ozark Bound and Danner. All right, I'm gonna get off. We're like a minute away from 50 minutes. Pretty good. I'm pretty sure Iowa Trapper will go live later or Next Gen. Next Gen just went live, so I'm assuming Iowa Trapper. 8-9 West Coast time. So he usually goes live. So come check out him and go Go check them out. Watch the videos. Yeah. Have a good one, guys. See you, Judith and Dan.